So, black and white or colour? It's a question that continues to divide the world of photography, and one that I sometimes find difficult myself. I'm sure some of you do too. But it becomes slightly easier if you ask a different question, and I'll explain why. I took this photograph in Florence last year, and it's one of my favourites, but I genuinely struggled to decide whether to print it in colour as it was taken or in black and white. I'll explain how I came to a decision a bit later. But first of all, how did we get here? How did the question of colour become so central and so contentious? I recently reviewed Europa by Joel Marowitz. Marowitz travelled to Europe in the summer of 1966, carrying 700 rolls of film, half black and white, half colour, and 2 cameras. This allowed him to switch easily between both mediums. Unlike today, where digital photography allows you to flip images into black and white or colour easily, this was a very manual process which led to an either-or approach to the question. Given the choice, many opted for colour, partly because of the novelty, but also because it more closely resembles what the world looks like to the human eye. Black and white became more niche and a bit highbrow. Colour photography was associated with the advertising industry and was seen as a bit vulgar. Henri Cartier-Bresson famously described colour photography in not very complimentary terms. Joel Marowitz ultimately came down on the side of colour because he believed that photography was fundamentally descriptive. Colour communicated important information to the viewer, whereas black and white was reductionist. On the other hand, Henri Cartier-Bresson believed that black and white reduces a photograph to its essential elements of form: light, shade, lines, texture, and so on. From this, colour is a mere distraction. Both seem quite valid, but when you think about it a bit longer, it becomes clear that they're not really arguing over the choice of medium, they're arguing about the point of a photograph. At its most basic, photography captures the way light falls on objects within a frame. Black and white photography relies entirely on the skillful use of light to create form. This image by Ansel Adams demonstrates the power of black and white to create strong perspective, definition, and texture. In this image by Henri Cartier-Bresson, light and shade are used to create perspective, frame the subject, and reflect the texture of the walls. This use of light in black and white photography almost resembles sculpture. Colour more closely resembles the world as we see it. This led to a more descriptive approach and a focus on everyday life and objects. This image by Joel Marowitz is ordinary and immersive. The point is not to create a piece of fine art so much, but to transport you to the heart of Manhattan in the 1970s. Here, the interplay of subjects within the frame has a real immediacy. This by Gary Winogrand does the same and compels you to look around as if you're standing on the same sidewalk. And so perhaps the question isn't so much black and white or colour, but what am I trying to do as a photographer? Going back to my image, I chose colour in the end because what struck me about the image was the richness of the brown leather and the gold ribbon around the hat. This is important information that I didn't want to lose. This one, however, I kept in black and white. It better emphasises form, the leading lines, light and shade, and the rule of third which places the subject. Colour would give a lot more information about the street, but it distracts from the purpose of the image. To conclude, black and white and colour are two different methods that achieve different photographic effects. So if you're composing an image and you're mostly preoccupied with light, shade, lines, shape and form, then it stands a chance it's going to look pretty good in black and white, if not better. If, however, you're trying to describe the place you're in, then colour includes information that you may not want to lose. Without being too binary about it, I think these two mediums underlay the two broad types of street photography that you see. There is the more coolly composed image, usually from more of a distance with an artistic intent, that you might find on the wall of a coffee shop or on the cover of a novel. And then there is the more immersive type of street photography that tries to communicate the dynamism of life as it goes on around us. Anyway, I'd be interested to know what you think, and please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.